Alright, listen up merchers. Welcome to the discontinued Tradeable Rares tier list. I'll be using this tier list to determine which rares are truly insane and which rares are total garbage. As per usual, my tier list represents 100% fact and cannot be argued with. Whenever you're ready, sit back, panic sell your party hat, and merch. Before I get into the video, I'd like to mention two different things. Some items on this tier list may come back in the future, but for now, they seem discontinued. I'm not entirely sure which items have been confirmed truly to be discontinued, so just keep that in mind. I'd also like to apologize for the crackling noises you may hear every now and then when using headphones. I'm not sure where that came from, but it seems to occur when I record audio live. Alright, the Disc of Returning, one of the oldest rares in Runescape, which only used to cost about 10 GP. I believe it was used to exit the black hole, which was created because players wanted to go in there, which is something related to getting players banned. And this is all the way back from RuneScape Classic, so this is a very old item, and nowadays it's really expensive. The only problem with this item is that it pretty much offers you nothing. You can own the item, but you can't show it off to other players unless you're trading with them, and for that reason, despite it being one of the older rares, I'm going to place it in B tier. This shouldn't be confused with the Disc of Returning, which is a login lockout item by the way, which allows you to go to that black hole place and then teleport back to the game, which is really cool by the way, and is something not every player owns. Next up is the Pet of Seasons. Now the Pet of Seasons is an item that goes back to 2015 I believe. I remember actually trying to get it through the event, but I didn't manage to actually finish my own, and I didn't think it was worth the money back then. However, nowadays it's fairly expensive, and I don't see many people running around with this pet. If you like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, this is probably going to be your favorite pet, and it would be up in S tier. However, I'm not the biggest fan of Groot. Sure, it was a cool character, but I don't think this item is very special, so I'm going to put it down in C tier. Next up, the half full wine jug. Now, if you own this item, you're bad at both merching and drinking, and the same can be said for whoever drank the first half of this jug of wine. Who the hell pays 100,000 times the price for half the amount of alcohol? D tier. The Christmas Cracker, an item that will give you one of the 6 original party hats, aka the most expensive loot box in RuneScape. Now RuneScape has a love and hate relationship with loot boxes and gambling, so I put it in B tier for balanced as all things should be. Next up, the Christmas Scythe, not to be confused with the gift wrap scythe, which looks really similar. Now this is one of the holiday items I really like the look of, and for that reason it's going straight into A tier. We then have the Crab Hat, which is a tradable hat that quite literally allows you to have a crab on your head. S tier. The Outfit of Seasons. Now this is a 5-part item set, and honestly it looks really good, especially if you pick the winter version. However, I don't think the rare is that special, so I'm going to put it in B tier as well with the Christmas Cracker and Disc of Returning. We then have the Christmas Tree Hat, an item I've actually owned 2 of on my accounts, but I've sold them, which obviously I now regret. This is an item that was discontinued back in 2012, and while it does sound cool, it doesn't look very good if you actually own it and put it on your character's head. C tier. The Cloak of Seasons is a nice looking cape, although it doesn't fit with very many outfits, and for that reason I'm going to place it in C, no actually, in B tier as well. The Crown of Seasons is by far the best looking rare item in the game that's discontinued, and in my opinion I would absolutely put it up in S tier. The only issue with this item is that Jagex gave out the coronets, which are the parts that were used to create this item, to every player for free back in 2018, and for that reason it isn't very special, so I'm going to put it in A tier, just below the Christmas sign. Next up we have the Easter Egg. Now this is an item that was dropped during the 2002 Easter event, and they are edible items, but the only problem with these items, including the other eatable items on this list, is that you can't really show them off to other players, and for that reason they don't have that much novelty in my opinion, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it in D tier. We then have the Barrel of Monkeys, which according to the wiki is a discontinued item that was awarded randomly while skilling or as a drop from Claudia during the summer beach parties from 2015 to 2018. Now this item is an item that no one wanted. It was basically trash. Everyone got a bunch of them and they were dropped on the floor, traded to other players, or sold for 1 GP each on the Grand Exchange. But nowadays they seem to be about 3,000 or 4,000 GP, which is surprising given that these items were trash and no one really wanted them. Now realistically, the Barrel of Monkeys should be placed at D tier, but my inner Homo sapiens sapiens says S tier. It's a difficult decision. Now let's put it down here. Next up we have the Holly Reef. Now this is an item from the 2014 Christmas event, and it actually is very expensive, beyond max cash as well. And I would say this item looks fairly decent, and for that reason I'm just going to go ahead and place it in B tier. There we go. Next up is the Fish Mask, originating from the Squeal of Fortune back in 2012. Now this item is so ugly that no one wanted to buy it until it started going up in value. In fact, the Fish Mask is such a hideous item, it's used as a form of punishment for YouTube challenges. Yes, I'm looking at you, Ryan. Very cool idea, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and put it in S tier. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. I'm going to put it in D tier. Unsurprisingly. Next up, we have the gem tokens, which are really expensive and don't look very good, actually. We have the gem sack, gem necklace, gem cape, and gem crown. And these items all look like very cheap Solomon's items. The only one that looks kind of decent is the gem cape. I'm going to go ahead and put it in C tier. The rest of the items, straight D tier. I don't like them very much. We then have an item that may not deserve to be here, but according to the wiki, it's discontinued. I doubt it though. The Glacial Shield Bow. This is a cosmetic override, and it doesn't look very bad at all. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in C tier. I just realized I made a mistake. This is the Reef Crown and this is the Holly Reef. The Reef Crown actually looks far more ugly, which places it down at C tier, and the Holly Reef should be right there in B tier. Sorry about that, guys. Next up, we have the Magical Bunny, Magical Lamb, and Magical Chick Eggs, which you also have enchanted versions of. Now, the regular versions can be eaten, and they can be traded, however not on the Grand Exchange. The enchanted versions are untradeable. I actually have one of the enchanted versions on an alt account. Now, this was from the 2014 and 2015 Easter promotion from Treasure Hunter, I believe, and they are discontinued. Now, the tradable eatable versions, again, are a consumable rare, so I don't think they're very special. The enchanted versions are kind of cool, but since they're not really part of this tier list, I can't include them. D tier. The pumpkin from the Halloween event in 2001. This item is an edible, so again, while it is pretty cool to have, you can't show it off, and it just doesn't have that novelty of being a wearable rare item. D tier. We then have a wearable item being the Halloween masks, and these do look really good. However, if you look at them just as a Halloween mask, I don't really like the look of them. However, in game, combined with the right outfit, they look really, really good. And these are from the 2002 Halloween event. I would go ahead and put all three of these in B tier, with the red one looking the best. We then have the Snow Cape token, which I'm actually surprised is a discontinued rare. It doesn't even look very good. And while I do have it myself, I'm going to go ahead and put this in D tier as well, because it just doesn't look very special. We then have the 3 balloons from the beach event, from those piñatas back in 2016, I believe. And the only reason the much rarer Seahorse follower token isn't on here is because it was available through the Oddman store, aka not discontinued. Let's start off with the Pufferfish, and this guy's going straight into S tier because just look at his face. Barry has been smoking some stuff, he picked the wrong Renars, and he just looks like that now, permanently. We then have the Seahorse. Now, if I was a girl, I would have probably put this in S tier, but I'm not, so I'm going to put it in C tier. And then the Starfish Balloon, which, if this is your favorite, I know which of the 2 holes you like most. D tier. We then have the Summer Prize token. Now, this is an item I really do like because it was from the first beach event back in 2015. This item unlocked the Sand Cape, the Loop Beam, and the Winston Pet, which is extremely cute. And I made a lot of money merching these tokens. Yes, I actually merched these tokens. I believe I was buying them for like 200k in the GE for anyone panic selling, and then selling them back to people for 1 mil each. And I think I did that like 70 or 80 times in a single day, or maybe a few days. I don't remember. There was a buy limit. I bought them from players, sold them in the G, and so on. And I made a lot of money from these. Now, these are discontinued for sure because we haven't seen these since the original 2015 beach event. Just because the pet is really cool, I'm going to go ahead and put this bad boy into A tier. We then have the 9 parasols, which can be combined into this black version here from the beach event in 2016. Now, while I do like these aren't very special rare items, and you can't really keepsake them, I believe. So for that reason, they're not going to go very high on this tier list, and I'm going to place most of them in D tier. Let's be honest, you wear these items as if you were actually going to go outside into the sun. And then we arrive at the big boy rares, the Santa hat. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, for full disclosure, the green Santa hat is confirmed not to be discontinued, but I just couldn't leave it out of this list. Now, the black Santa hat, in my opinion, is one of the best looking rare items, simply because it fits with everything, or almost everything, and it's going to go straight into S tier with the pufferfish balloon and crab hat. We then have the green Santa hat. Now, the green Santa hat looks slightly different than the red one, the original Santa hat, and I'll be honest, when I think of a Santa hat, I don't think of a green one. It does look alright, and with the right outfit it can look good, but I'm still going to go ahead and place it in B tier. We then have the regular Santa hat. Now, this is an item that looks really good in any game where you can wear a Santa hat, and when you think of a Santa hat, you think of a red and white Santa hat, and that's exactly what this is. The Santa hat deserves no other place than S tier. Alright, let's rank the party hats, and I'm sure this is going to piss a lot of people off, but here we go. In my opinion, the white party hat is the most versatile rare in the game, and it will fit with pretty much anything. It's going straight into S tier. We then have the blue party hat, which looks almost as good, but I would probably prefer a black Santa hat over the blue party hat. So it's going to go in between there. We then have the red party hat, which in my opinion, it's alright, but I'm going to go ahead and put it there. We then have the green party hat, and green is a really good looking color in game, at least this type of green does, but I don't think it looks better than the blue or white, so I'm going to go ahead and place it over here. The yellow party hat, in my opinion, does not look very good, and I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off, but I just don't think the yellow party hat looks very good. I'm going to go ahead and place it over there. And then we have the purple party hat, which is supposedly the most rare party hat in the game. Well, I think it deserves a good spot right over there. And then finally we have the golden party hat, which I would place in B tier. Now, this might surprise some people, but the golden party hat just doesn't look very good in max graphics. The gold looks a little bit weird, and it doesn't fit with very many outfits. Taking a look at the tier list as a whole, I do believe the Pet of Seasons and Christmas Tree hat deserve to be in B tier and not in C tier. If you're wondering about the meditation rest animation token, which you can see at the bottom of D tier, it shouldn't actually be in this tier list because it was available for oddments at a certain point and probably will return in the future. And so that concludes my Tradeable Rares tier list. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below and maybe consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.